At Community Voice Channel, you learn television production with hands-on experience. Our programming comes from volunteers, just like you. For more information on how to volunteer, call 860-645-1454 or visit www.cvcct.org. Don't just watch TV, make it!
Hello and welcome to the Community Voice Channel. My name is Ivy too, and I'm your host for CVC Interviews. Today I'm interviewing Terilynn Rogers, who is a longtime Vernon resident and a total multifaceted human being. Hi and welcome, Terilynn.
Hi, Ivy. How are you?
Great.
Good.
How are you?
Good.
How are you
good.
feeling today?
Good. Very good. Sunny day. Can't complain.
Right. So you are the president of the Vernon Community Network. You serve on the town council, and you're also a liaison for the Human Services Commission. What is your relationship to Vernon?
My relationship to Vernon is one, my family is one of the longest families living in the town of Vernon and one of the first minority families to come to Vernon. We have over 100 years of history in living in Vernon, mainly in the Rockville area of Vernon. So long history and family history in the town.
Wow. So who was the first person in your family to come here?
Actually, my grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
So it was my mom's mother, father, and at the time she had 4 siblings at the time came up from the South, and then my mom and 3 other of her siblings were all born here in Rockville General Hospital. So They were the first. She's of 9 kids in the family, and they grew up in downtown Rockville, where Town Hall is. My grandfather had a house in the parking lot of Town Hall, and then where the senior housing is in downtown Rockville, he owned a house at that spot there, and he worked on the tower when he first came to Vernon. So we have a lot of history in Vernon.
Oh, that's awesome. And a lot of history working with the town.
Yes.
So you are the president of the Vernon Community Network.
Yes.
Can you tell us what that is?
So the Vernon Community Network, it's a nonprofit, and what we do is we identify and coordinate services for the enrichment of our community. So it's kind of like, I always tell people, we're sort of like the Chamber of Commerce for all nonprofits. So we don't technically provide a service, but we help connect services within the community and made it like the Terilynn County as well. So some of the things that we do is we work with social services, and like you said, I am on the Human Services Commission through the town. We work with the school department, businesses, individuals. So it's just like a community-wide organization, and we try to help cut to the chase. And if anyone has an issue, we try to fix it right then and there without having to go through a lot of different channels to get help for any resident that's within the community.
What has the impact been like?
The impact has been great. So the organization has been around since 2007. So it started with Alan Slobodine and Dave Eggleston as presidents. So I'm actually the 3rd president of the VCN. So some of the things that we do is we have what we call like a community chest. So what we do is we help anyone within the community that has a quick and immediate need. So they may need glasses, or they need security deposit, bus pass. So they come to us, and obviously it's an application process that we go through, but we try to just fix it right then and there without having to go through like 211 and different agencies. So we try to bypass it, but bypass it in the proper way. So we're not putting anyone in danger, so we always make sure that we're working with a sense of urgency to help anyone in our community.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah.
And then why did you want to become the president? What is that role like?
Well, I actually didn't want to become the president. So I was just a member at first for the VCN, and I was sitting there, and the then president said to me, "Would you like to be the next president of the Vernon Community Network?" And I was like, I guess. So so that's kind of how it came about, just being a member of the VCN. It's actually a volunteer position, so which is nice. It was like people say to me, well, being a volunteer doesn't always pay, and sometimes it's not about the pay when you're being a volunteer, because it's kind of from your heart and what you feel, your passion, and what's good for you at the end of the day. So I became the president because I was a member, and the outgoing president, he, I guess, saw in me something that would help carry the organization to a higher level. So here I am. So I've been the president.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for a while now.
So speaking of roles that you've taken on, you also serve on the Vernon Town Council.
Yes.
And you ran for that position. And you said that our town is growing and changing, and we need leadership that reflects the full community it serves. Who is the community?
Our community is anyone that looks like you, looks like me, looks like, anyone. So 1976 to 2007, I was in Boston. So it was a completely different culture. And it was like a culture shock for me when I went to Boston. So coming from a community that is not a lot of minorities live in that community. So going from here to Boston, I learned so much about myself and my culture in Boston. When I came back to Rockville, I was like, oh, okay, this is different. So it was kind of like a culture shock for me going, from Boston back to here. And I said to myself, I said, I don't see a lot of things that are happening or that are quite correct here in Vernon. And I said, I should get involved and see what's out there, what what the community brings to the people within the community. So I made a conscious effort to take what I learned in Boston about my culture to here in Vernon.
Awesome. So what is it like to serve on the council?
The council's interesting. You have your ups, you have your downs. I actually ran for mayor for I want to say 2014. I could be wrong with that date. But I ran for mayor, and it was a personal challenge for myself. And I said, let me see. I'm going to try it, and let's see how it works out. I didn't win, which was okay, but it was a personal choice. And I just wanted to challenge myself. And it was a different experience because it was sort of like the people that I thought I knew when I decided to run for mayor, I ended up realizing I did not know who they were
Is that when it came to running?
Yes,
for it?
yeah, running for the position. So it was kind of a hard pill to swallow because I was like, oh, I thought these people were kind of okay. And then it's like politics are crazy.
Yeah.
So we know sometimes it brings out the best in us and sometimes it doesn't. So at the end of the day, was it a great experience? No, but was it? It was an experience that I won't forget, and an experience that I will always treasure and always keep it in the back of my mind and keep growing from that experience. So I did step away for a little bit of time, and then I came back and ran for the council, and I won, and here I am, my third term. So yeah, so it's a challenge. So especially a person of color, it is definitely a challenge to be on the council, but it's very rewarding also.
Right.
So
challenge is how we make progress.
Yeah.
And you don't seem someone who's afraid of any of that.
No.
And as someone whose family has been here for over 100 years at this point, what changes have you kind of seen in Vernon, and what improvements do you hope to see?
The improvements that I have seen is now on the council, there are 2 other minorities also on the town council right now. So that's a big change. So there are 3 of us there. There are more minorities on our council. And the town is, they have what's called the cultural district, so they're starting to do more inclusive things within the community to help better, put us put us all together on an even playing field. So that's a plus side, that they are improving their community engagement a little bit more so.
Awesome. So what inspires you?
What inspires me is me. So, because every day I try to challenge myself, push myself, and learn something new every day. I try to go into things knowing that it's going to be a good outcome. And I'm patient, very, very, very patient. So like I said, I inspire myself every day to just get up and keep moving and be the best person that I can to have a nice, peaceful rest.
I need that on like a board somewhere in my house. Is that why you serve? You serve your community?
I serve my community because I found that coming back from Boston, that it wasn't making sense to me, like, because we celebrate Juneteenth here in Vernon, the Vernon Community Network. We host a Juneteenth event, and I had no clue what Juneteenth was about until I moved to Boston, right? And I kept people saying, "Oh, Juneteenth," and it's a huge celebration there. So all the years living there, I was like, "Okay, this is like really cool." So when I came back, from Boston, I was like, "Oh, who's having the Juneteenth event?" And everybody was like, "What?
What's Juneteenth?"
What's Juneteenth? So it was kind of like, it was sort of like, I just wanted to make sure that I was doing things that inspired others to want. And it was a challenge even doing that event, because it was like it's never been done here in town before. So it was like a real challenge, and getting places to have it, and getting people to attend, and it was just it was.
I saw that you were in partnership with ECHN, the Eastern Connecticut Health Network. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So now it's Hartford Healthcare, because it was just purchased. ECHN was just purchased through Hartford Healthcare, and what we do together is we partner to have, which is also a first for Vernon, is our Black History Month celebration. So we host it at Rockville General Hospital, and Hartford Healthcare, they do all the catering for us, they get the speakers, and this is going on, it'll be our 5th year coming up. So it's been a nice celebration. And like I said, it's something that was never done in town before, and people are still saying, "Oh, there was a history breakfast," so they're still learning about it. But we partner with Hartford Healthcare on that.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So what other events or any upcoming projects that you're working on that you're excited
So
about?
we have National Night Out, which is with police and community. We partner with them to host the National Night Out event. And then we get grants and funding through Hartford Foundation for Public Giving. And what we do, some of the projects that we've done an event, Dancing Towards Diversity, which was a funny event. So we held it in Vernon. So most of our events I try to hold in the Vernon Rockville area. So it's easy for people to get to, especially where transportation is really hard for people in Vernon. So try to have it at places where it's easy to walk to. So we have the Dancing Towards Diversity. And then this coming month, March 27th, we're doing what we call Building Confidence, one bike at a time. So we got a nice grant to give out bikes for through the Connecticut Department of Transportation. It's called Safe Routes to School.
Oh, wow.
So so we're going to be giving bikes out to kids that go to one of our elementary schools that live in the closest apartment complex to that school.
Okay.
So March 27th, we're giving out 41 bikes to 41 kids, hopefully.
Wow.
And so we do that. And then we also have a space in Vernon. It's called The Nook at 116 and a half Grove Street, where we run the nonprofit out of it. So it's like a maker space for anyone that wants to either have private meetings. We have an attorney that meets there with clients. She's a family attorney. We have a small church that gathers there. And like I said, it's an open space for anyone that's looking to promote themselves. Christmas time, I have crafters come in and they use the space for either a month or for the whole entire Christmas season, and they just promote themselves. So it's self-sufficient. You have a code, you can go in and you do your thing. You just make sure it's neat and clean.
And that's the Nook.
Yeah,
that's
the
incredible.
Nook. Yeah.
So you clearly have gotten a lot of grants and sponsorships for your events. What advice would you give to someone who is also looking to do community initiatives and wants to get grants?
So what the VCN, what we also do is we'll take anyone under our wings and help them become a nonprofit. So if you have an idea. So we had a young lady, she did a project called Healing Hands. And what it was she wanted to do a nonprofit where she wanted to make sure that kids had Christmas gifts and Christmas dinner. So what she would do is, she wasn't a nonprofit, so the VCN we took her under our wings, and we became like her fiscal agent, and we helped her do her paperwork to become a nonprofit. And it's kind of like a intern program with the VCN to set up your own nonprofit.
Oh, that's incredible.
We've helped. We've done three to date that have gotten nonprofits under the VCN by working alongside of us and learning, the ins and outs of the community, what you can do, what you can't do, and all of that.
So the VCN helps not only neighbors, but helps people start initiatives themselves.
Yes.
Is that how you would suggest someone who is wanting to start a community initiative begin?
Yeah, come to the VCN. We're always here. Well, actually, we just signed on with a young lady that's getting ready to do like a finance course. And but she wants to make it bigger, and with the CHEP program, so she's going to work with us on getting her nonprofit under the VCN.
Oh, incredible. Is there anything else that you'd like to add?
No.
No? Awesome. Well, I mean, there is so much we could talk about, too. I saw that you're also an equity coach.
With Sustainable CT. Yeah, I do a lot. So I'm with Sustainable CT as their equity coach. And Sustainable CT, what they do is they help towns become like a sustainable community. So right now, Vernon is a gold community, and I help them with the equity portion of it in order to achieve that accomplishment as their gold status for the town of Vernon.
Can you explain what that really means?
So there's different levels to the Sustainable CT. So there's different modules that you have to meet. So there's like a one-on-one. So where's the equity in your community? And it deals with homelessness. It deals with hunger. It deals with basic transportation. It deals with health and welfare. So it's a long list of things that Sustainable CT that they do. So you get your certification for that. And they also have what's called a crowdfunding module, which is it's like a matching program. So if you want to have an event in town, so like sometimes like our national night out, in order to raise more funds and be able to keep the event ongoing, what we can do is like a crowdfunding event. So they match it dollar for dollar. And like Strong Farm in Vernon, what the VCN has done has given like other nonprofits the information for Sustainable CT in order to do crowdfunding. So Strong Farm, we gave them the information for Sustainable CT, and they got these really cool garden beds that they put in because they ran a crowdfunding event. So it was a matching program which allowed them to get their garden beds.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So
I think what I love the most about everything you've talked about is that the VCN also keeps coming into many different areas.
Yes.
How would someone learn more information about it or like stay updated with what the VCN
So
does?
the VCN, we do have a website that's in the process of being made over. So our website is onevernon.org, and then our email is info@onevernon.org. So we post, we're kind of like a very low-key, under the radar kind of nonprofit. So we like to just get the work done and just move on to the next project. But we do have our website. Any events that we have, we post them either on Patch or Eventbrite, through word of mouth, and then we send out newsletters and information on our upcoming meetings. We meet 3 times a year. We used to meet monthly, but that just got very overwhelming a little bit because we are all volunteers.
Sure, yeah.
So we meet 3 times a month. So I try to make a breakfast meeting, a lunch meeting, and a dinner meeting. So we can kind of so we can kind of cover all of our communities.
So how can someone join and volunteer with the VCN?
So they can volunteer with the VCN either by going on our website, and there is a section on our website where you can do the volunteer information. We also go to events, and we'll set up provider fairs. We go to the provider fairs, and we give out information for the provider fair to anyone that's interested in becoming a member or just wanting to get their nonprofit status.
Awesome. Great. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I love shoes. No.
I love shoes. You're also adjusted to the Peace.
Yes, I am adjusted to the Peace, the state of Connecticut. And I do pop-up weddings for anyone that wants something just small and intimate. So yes, I am.
What don't you do?
What don't I do?
Yeah.
I don't drink orange juice.
That's specific.
I don't like orange. I don't drink orange juice. But I do a lot. You know, I try to stay busy, and I try to stay active, especially in the community. I try to stay active in the community.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Terilynn. And thank you so much to everyone who's listening today. Terilynn is an exemplar community member, and she's someone who we should really be looking up to and looking into the Vernon Community Network to see everything that they do. So thank you so much, and have a great night.